We're in. Okay, there we go. All right, we are live with Lore Club going in here. I got Patches and Lizzie with me. We're about set to get jumped in, but before we do that, how you guys doing? How's you guys been day? The first question I wanted to ask you guys is what you had for lunch.
Mm-hmm. I have not had lunch yet. I have soup ready to go.
Wait, you're gonna do soup during the stream?
Not
You
only
can
if
do it.
you sure?
Yeah, I've eaten during streams. People get mad about it, but really, what do they? What do they care?
Yeah. What do they know? Yeah. All right. I'll think about it.
I've done whole podcast episodes eating chips, and then
oh yeah. Well, that I know.
If you just pretend you're doing it on purpose to make people mad, it's not a social faux pas.
Yeah. Oh, that's a smart. Yeah. So I'm doing that to piss y'all off. So okay.
Well, it's not going to piss me off because I suggested it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I have it ready to go though. So I'll wait on that. Sorry. This is wait. I could have just said I like sandwich, but
yeah, you didn't even say what type of soup.
Oh, it's a chicken soup. It's got a lot of spices in it though, so it's a spicy chicken soup.
The fuck? It is a chicken soup. It has a lot of spice. Does it have a fucking? Is it a recipe? Is it a Rift soup? I didn't want to start by going this hostile, but you just said it's a chicken soup with lots of spices in it. What do I do with that?
Yeah, I eat it. I don't know what you're gonna do with it though.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming on the stream. I think we're gonna wrap it up here for Lore Club. I think we're over that for now. I think I'm
in
done.
trouble.
Yeah, I think I've had a problem with it.
Branson, it's supposed to be Lore Club, not Lunch Club. I think you're going a little hard on this.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. I like to start everyone with lunch or breakfast or really,
Yeah, I just made it really tough because I eat like a monk, so I made this really hard to do.
Now, maybe you can back us. Do you have any sort of redeeming candles or any sort of ambiance?
I do.
There we go.
I'll light some candles. Give me a second.
Thank you. Lizzie, what about you? What did you have for lunch?
I have also not had lunch yet.
I got to start telling people before. Did you have breakfast?
I did. I had a really late breakfast. I slept in, had some scrambled eggs and toast.
There we go. Okay, that's a breakfast. That's real food. Yeah. That's something there. I can tell you cooked it. It's not something ambiguous. Thank you very much for participating there. Because if you were going to say you had breakfast, I heard you going on for this whole other story. I'm like, she's not even going to tell me what she had, is she?
No, I'm happy to tell my breakfasts.
Well, I have to brag now. I had a sandwich. I had a turkey sandwich with Munster cheese and lettuce. I ran out of mayo. As for the candle here, I got a beast of a candle. I got a salted amber and vetiver.
Wow.
So I'm locked in. I'm in the zone. So before we go and we start creating the new gods, I want to do a real quick recap. All right. So on the recap, I'm going for the gods that we've created so far. So the goal of Lore Club is we're creating a bunch of lore for a campaign that I'm eventually going to run. The campaign that I'm eventually going to run is going to have 5 segments, and each one is going to progress history like 500 years or something along that lines. I'm basically aiming for the start of the game is the equivalent of like a late Bronze Age. Uh-oh. Hold on. I lowered your guys' cameras because I blew it. There we go. Ah, shit. Hold on.
I'm waiting.
No, I'm fucking it up now. I have to put the document. Wait, no, I have to put you over that. Yeah, and then that's how I know it's. All right. All right, I'm a great streamer. All right, so we're starting late Bronze Age, all right? We've gotten 4 gods so far. First one Joel made is Murtu. He's the god of death, peace, and dreams. He is an interloper god. He came from a different world. If you guys roll interloper god, that means you will be somehow underneath in Murtu's wheelhouse. So if you roll interloper god, you get to decide what the relationship is, but you came along with him, you're his kid, something along those lines, you are linked to him. All right? Sure. He's got a holy order that won't be much relevance to you guys. He does have his own plane of existence, which is a dream world in the mortal world. Uh-oh, hold on.
Oh no, I'm so frozen.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Ooh.
We're good. Just refresh it. I'm going to keep going. He's got his own dream world. He's got Quetzalcoatl's. All right. His basically what happened in the lore. He was the first god. He showed up. There was no burial of death. He created the pantheon by explaining to a man named Harry Josiah, the first gravedigger, that they should start burying their dead. And that kicked off a bunch of cosmological stuff that happened. The second god to show up is a god named Zoth. Lizzie, can you still hear me, or are you still there? Or is it just the camera?
Yes, I'm still totally here. I think my camera is just being crazy.
All right, we'll figure it out.
If it keeps doing this the whole time, I'll just eventually turn it off to be less distracting.
I don't think it matters too much. I'm not too worried about it. As long as you can hear me, that's good. So,
yes, I can hear.
Oki made Zoth. Zoth is an ocean. He doesn't have a form of person. It is
very, very Oki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a wine-colored ocean.
Okay.
So I know that he was saying that because he was talking about like in Ulysses or when I forgot what, like the Odyssey or whatever, back in antiquity where they didn't really have a color for blue yet. And they described the ocean as wine colored in one passage.
Yes.
So he's stuck with that. He's a water god. His domain is life and beasts. All he cares about is unapologetic life. He never considers death.
Got it.
He doesn't consider people dying. He doesn't worry about that. To him, death doesn't exist. He just wants to create more and more swarming style life. He's got his own sentient species. He rolled really lucky and got 2 sentient species. So he has a peaceful fish people that he basically made the Gungans.
Okay.
He basically made the race the Gungans on accident.
So, all roads lead towards Gungans.
So he made the carp.
There we go.
The most common animal species. So like the big cash like thing, the equivalent of cows in this world will be manatees. There are herdable manatees in this universe that are a primary source of food for people. So we're looking at like oceanic pastoral societies and some stuff. And then he has anglerfish people that are very hostile kind of mortals. So Murtu and Zoth hate each other. I have, let me pull up this real quick. I have like a chart in the top right above my head where you can see Murtu and Zoth are rivals. They don't like each other.
Okay.
God number 3 is Andrew's god Coldwell. All right, now Coldwell used to be a person, then he died. He's the god of darkness, revenge, and revelry. So he is obsessed with getting revenge. His plane of existence, though, is the bathhouse. The Mount Olympus place where you guys meet is called the bathhouse, and the god of revenge runs it. He's got a demigod rival who controls knowledge and trade, who has a navy of knowledge. So there's a lot going on. If you don't remember this, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll lean on you to like help be like, oh, this actually sounds like this god who did this thing, and like feel free to draw connections where I might miss them. But I'm keeping the ones that I'm enjoying. Keep going. Sorry.
And then Mount Olympus bathhouse is I'm trying to lock that.
Yeah.
That sounds really significant.
The Mount Olympus is a bathhouse where it's just about partying.
Okay.
All right. Then we go to Zeke. Zeke made Ein Sof. Ein Sof is also not really a person. It is a form of an orb that can get bigger and smaller. I think he was describing a movie I didn't see called The Prisoner when he was talking about this. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Familiar, yeah.
There is weather inside of the orb, and he doesn't have a face.
Fine.
So he is a wild god that created himself out of nothing, out of nature, really, dragged himself out, and he's obsessed with his elements are air, madness, and what was his last one? Air, madness, and time. So all of his stuff is like sacred geometry, fractals. The world is contained. You cannot fly to space because the sky becomes a weird labyrinth folding in on itself. So in this world, you are trapped in the plane of existence. And his big thing is he's got these birds that can fly up there. But he also controls time and has a bunch of weird stuff going with that and madness.
Okay. So just first question on like, so it sounds like, so did Mirtu introduce death then into this world? Was it just Zoth or like does anyone precede the other one? Is there time in their relationships?
There's no gods between Murtu. The way that Joel described it, he arrived to a place where humans had developed naturally. Humans were not created. It was almost like organic evolution until this god showed up to this unspoiled world and basically goes, all right, here's how we're going to start doing stuff.
Okay, and then Zoth and called all these other ones sort of arose out of that kind of,
And when people die, they become like almost forest sprite spirits instead of ghosts, and they're put to work to help stuff rather than just like meandering around haunting stuff.
Okay.
There's some more complicated stuff in there with an eternal whale that has a prophet inside of it that I'm not going to bore you. I'm not going to get into you guys.
I like that.
If it becomes relevant, I'll bring it up.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Last thing I wanted to go over before we just get started. All right. Joel's thing. How do you guys want to do it? Do you guys want to do it one at a time, or do you guys want to roll both and then create one at a time?
I
think it
might. What are you thinking, Lizzie?
What I'm good with whatever.
I think it might be easier.
Be able to keep it straight more if we do one at a time.
Let's keep it one at a time. I was thinking that's the call too.
Yeah. Sorry, teacher.
All right. Starting with the God stuff here. All right. So we got the God Builder document here. This is the document we've been going off of for this. So we still have some good domains. What we're going to do is we're going to roll everything before we start creating lore. So we're going to create all of the actual stuff with domains so we don't start planning stuff, because what I found is if people start planning stuff for like the god of magic and then you get some god of agriculture thing in there too, it may throw off your whole plan. So we're going to go ahead and get ready. So one thing for the origin that I briefly talked about is that whatever origin you get, every origin's been rolled out of the 4 origins. So whatever origin you roll, you are somewhat going to be tied to that previous god. Right? So I'll describe a little bit about it if you get it, and you can tell me how you decide you want to be connected to them. It could be something as simple as family. It can be something as simple as a conflict you had. Whatever you want, it's up to you. Let's go ahead and get rolling here. Lizzie, you got a D4 with you?
No. Oh, shoot. I thought you were going to use like a bot or something.
No, I can do it. I have dice.
You do.
Usually people just don't want to let me roll it.
Are you anti-virtual die? You want to do only real die?
No, I trust virtual die. Let's be honest. I mean, you lie about your rolls, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, as you're a DM, you kind of have to lie about your rolls to tell a better story all the time. So
absolutely,
it's like, yeah, that's why I like real dice, because I can just roll a 4 and look at it and go, "You got a 2." You know?
Okay, I have dice.
I would like to also say, anybody in chat, thanks for watching all that stuff. People are saying a lot of stuff. I got too many fucking irons in the fire to read what you're saying. I can't comment on it. I can't do it. Right now, I got like 4 documents open. I'm not an organized person. I'm doing the best I can. All right? All right.
Am I rolling a D4?
You are rolling a D4 for your origin. 1 is a wild god, 2 is an interloper god, 3 is a soul god, 4 is an enigma god.
I got 3.
3. You are a soul god. All right. You are a god born out of worship. Whether you started as a mortal or started as an idea, it doesn't matter. You were created through the faith of your followers. So the only other soul god that has been created so far has been Coldwell. Coldwell is Andrew's guy. He's the god of revenge, revelry, and darkness. He was killed by an unjust society, and his followers basically praised his name until he became a god.
Right.
So you will have some sort of connection to him. So we'll keep that in mind. We don't have to say what it is yet. We are going to move along to the next roll, to the domains. All right? So out of the domains, air has been taken, water has been taken, darkness has been taken, and death has been taken. So what we have available is the domains of fire, earth, light, and arcane. So we got 4 left here. So another thing, Lizzie, you get to just pick one once. So it's not all going to be rolls. At one point, if you really want the fire domain, if you really want something else, you can just say, all right, I'm going to use my 1 pick to take that one.
Mm-hmm.
But you always roll first, and then you can decide if you want to do it or not.
Okay. I'm gonna roll.
I'm gonna make you re-roll if you get anything that's already been picked.
Okay. Well, should I just roll a d4? Because there's 4 left.
Yeah, might as well. Then I'll just rank 1 fire, 2 earth, 3 light, 4 magic.
I got a 3.
You got a 3, which is light. Do you want to stick with that, or do you want to override it? Let me read the description. Let me just read the domain for you. This god's domain is everything visible, all light, and all stars. What your questions that you have to answer is, what is the sun or other main source of light like in this world? What does that mean for the world cosmologically? Create a magical item that represents the light and tell us what it's called. So with light, you choose, do we got a weird color sun? Do we got 2 suns? You know, how does light get to the earth? Is it just like this super bright moon? Really, at that point, you can do anything you want. So that's the domain there. Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, see, this is the one that I was having a tough time with maybe wanting to use my veto because I really like arcane. Well, I thought about all of them except for light. I thought I like literally art, and I came up with ideas for the other 3.
Well, we can switch it easy. I mean, a lot of the other you want to do magic?
I think I want to do magic.
All right.
Magic.
All right.
Okay.
Your soul god. This god's domain is all magic, everything astral, and everything that connects our world to different worlds. What is the source of this world's magic? Is it like the weaves, a static magical structure to be manipulated or generated through pure intellect, or is it inherently unknowable and contradictory? And then you got to tell us who was the first wizard to decode the secrets of magic and what happened to him after. So... those 2 down there.
Well, I love inherently unknowable and contradictory.
Oh, perfect. And I always tell people, don't be afraid to break the rules or do something that is because like one of my favorite things in lore is like the Elder Scrolls Dragon Break. I love shit that's inherently contradictory, inherently isn't supposed to make sense. All that stuff's good.
Yeah, I think it fits with this kind of wide-ranging mystery origin thing you've got going on already. So all right. And then what's my other stuff I have to come up with? The first magic user?
Yeah, we're not going to come up with that yet. We're going to do the first 2 domains now. So now I would like for you to roll a d20. We're going over the list 1 domains right now. The God of War is still available. Whatever you get, you are stuck with at this point.
Okay. That was loud. I have rolled a 19.
You've rolled a 19. Tricksters!
Ooh, fun.
You rule over the divine domain of tricksters, illusion, and guile.
Lots of implications.
Yeah.
That
goes well with magic, I think.
Yeah, very fun.
I'm excited about this.
After creating magical creatures that can take on any form, you pulled the greatest trick ever seen in heaven or earth on one of your fellow deities and forever altered the course of their life. All right.
Like a backpack.
So you're going to have to come up with a lore of something that you did to trick one of the other 4 gods. You can pick whatever one you want. It might make most sense to do Coldwell since you already have to have some sort of relationship to him. And then you are also going to create what this world's shapeshifters are like. So we're going to have you do that after you do that one. So we got Trickster here. All right, and let's roll the last domain before we start making stuff up. On the list 2 domains here, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Sorry, now. Protection and stuff, that part?
Yes, this one right here. So that's going to be another D20.
D20, okay. 15.
15 is... time. Roll again. Already been taken.
Okay. 17.
Nobility. Oh. You rule over the divine domain of nobility, kings, dictators, and warlords. You paid very close attention to 2 mortal kings that you believed best exemplified the great king and the evil king. They both lived during the same age, and 1d4, that'll be what campaign they're going to show up in. All right, so we're going to have you design the ideal good king and the ideal evil king. We're going to get names and stuff, and they're going to show up in a campaign. And that is going to be 1d4. Okay. All right.
This is so much responsibility.
All right. Cool. Domains, we got trickster, nobility. All right. Let's start answering some of the questions here. Let me pull that from, let's see, magic. Okay. So first thing we're going to talk about here, and Patches, feel free to chime in discussing any of this stuff. I'm always really, really interested with how they do magic in most games.
Yes.
They never explain it a lot of times, or if they do, they'll make it seem like it's either this rules-based order thing, or it's this weird math thing, or it's this weird scholarship-based thing. So... yeah. You are going to be the god of magic.
Yeah.
Do you want to start off first by designing what your name and what you look like, or do you want to get straight into deciding some elements about the world and maybe your personal clarify from there?
Well, okay, definitely gotta go goddess. It's a
goddess,
beautiful woman as at least one of the aspects. You know.
Oh, of course. We haven't had.
I know.
We've only had one god with a body so far.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say it feels like it's been very male coded, but then I thought about it and I was like, no, it's also actually been very agender.
I think it's been a lot of people who want to deny their own humanity as hard as possible.
Yeah. So I would say, so I like the idea because it's a soul god and a soul goddess. She arose out of, worship. It's one of those worlds where, people wanted magic to exist so badly that it arose out of need. And she, she.
So if we're talking about it arose out of need, right? Would that mean the people that are most in need, most desperate, are able to use magic, or that creates it in the world where somebody else can use it?
I think it's more like the people. Yeah, I think there's an element of desperation for people to, need an otherworldly source as a solution to their problems. I also think she arose out of in response to some sort of tapping into
like a willpower,
a collective consciousness.
Oh, here we go.
And so her first action would have been to usurp some of that magic power from the other god that already existed, and then to sort of channel that into magic.
So this is
she's sort of Promethean.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
She tapped into an already kind of existing resource that maybe the other gods either didn't know about or didn't care about.
Yeah. Yeah, their nature was sort of, not something that they were examining that closely, and then, mortals showed up, and the mortals know about the gods, right?
Yeah. The first god showed up
aware.
Basically when the first god showed up, he showed up in everybody's dreams and is like, you idiots got to start burying your dead. That was really the main thing that he did. And so everybody's used to the god. Now I'll say this, the gods don't seem hyper interested in people. So far of all four gods, nobody really seems to care that much about the individual lives. Maybe Coldwell the most, but a lot of the gods seem fairly distant
Aloof.
from the suffering. Yeah.
I'll say you have like what's interesting about yours. I was just thinking, Lizzie, is you have nobility, and there's something to the extent of like you, like as a magic god who's like looking at the power that the gods have, and then you see these like warlords and these kings and these queens, and it's like maybe they can have power too. Is there maybe there's a connection there? It's like you see people with the ability to amass power. I don't know.
Yeah, she's very into palace intrigue. She's kind of like, people are her reality show.
There we go.
He is being entertained by
that would be good. Loving palace intrigue. We're gonna have a lot of questions about how she interacts with mortals that I think will be pretty good too. Like
I think I'm really gonna lean into the trickster aspect.
Yeah.
So it's like there's gonna be a lot of like, if you can justify, you know, your desire for power with your like for magic powers with with some sort of like trickstery thing.
Or like even like the court fool like is maybe more important and has a relationship to magic and this god in some way. Maybe even you could like play with that.
Well, even if you have like you have a god, like the goddess of kings, right, is a wizard. I mean, you might have a lot more kings that are interested in magic and using magic themselves.
Yeah, we're talking about, I guess, a world of sorcerer kings, maybe.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Rulers.
And especially, but that, you know, it's still with the same court intrigue that, you know, it's more, it's more like the wizards didn't become kings, the kings became wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we have now as magic as this sort of like collective consciousness that people are able to pull from. The one question I always ask this with magic, because it answers a lot of questions, I feel like. So if it pulls from a collective consciousness, if you're a wizard on the moon, 1,000 miles away from any living being, can you cast spells?
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as it exists in the world and that you can pull it, there is suffering somewhere. That kind of magic resonates throughout the entire universe. Like, is there anywhere that, like, magic doesn't exist, or is it all permeating everything?
That's an interesting question. I wonder, I would say probably there's nowhere it doesn't exist, but the rules might be different in, you know, the afterlife or whatever. Like in the domain of another god, you know, so even if you are like underwater in the ocean, like I don't know if you're accessing it the same way.
Yeah, especially if you're in like the ocean that is Zoth, then the magic might be completely different then. Considering there, or even so a lot of I like this idea of like it's not as rigid and mathematical. It's a lot of context based and people as the source of magic existing.
Yeah.
In terms of like the first wizard, who was the first mortal to figure this out?
Okay, I'm thinking.
If you're stuck on a name, that's my favorite part of stuff. So easily, I can help with a name.
I'm just thinking the first mortal would be like a prince or princess in you know, in some sort of succession intrigue.
Right, in a succession style scenario.
Yeah.
In a classic game of in a house, you know, style, you know, like vie for power, Habsburg style prince or princess.
Yes.
In a power struggle.
Yeah.
Were they gifted magic? Did they learn it themselves?
I think they. I think that they attempted to contact, what is his name, Colwell?
Oh yeah, Coldwell.
And I think this other entity, mine, answered instead. And was like,
you know a name yet?
You don't want revenge. You just want power. Does that work?
Yeah, of course that works.
Okay, cool.
And then he was able to kind of
a name for her.
build it up from there. Well, she's a beautiful woman. She loves palace intrigue. Let's talk about her origin. She started... Was she created? Was she a real person, or was she an idea?
I think she was more of an idea. I think she was more like, you know, a legendary figure that became, you know, real through
like a Helen of Troy style thing.
Yeah, because I think that fits with sort of the soul, you know, like all like the collective unconscious came together and manifested this beautiful woman who can bestow magic on you.
Oh, I'm so horny and I want to use magic so bad.
It really would be. I always tell, like, the wizards in reality would be so fucking horny. They would be the worst.
I'm so lonely in my tower.
Fucking just just casting message to every girl in a 30-foot. Building a giant resonating crystal so I can ask as many girls ASL as possible. All right, so she was maybe like, I like the idea of kind of starting her off as like a character in a story, and then maybe she got this more, or like she was like this trope, and then everybody started believing her until she come into exist.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So
Let's pull up some of the trickster stuff here. What did the trickster stuff say?
Okay.
All right, we can talk about the greatest trick you ever pulled, and then shapeshifters. We can do that in either order you want. You want to design some shapeshifters, or you want to talk about your trick first?
Let's go trick first, and then maybe circle back to first wizard, and then shapeshifters.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what are you thinking?
So, okay, let me look at the document again I'm like in 30 places at once.
Oh, you're good. The greatest trick. So the reason why you govern the domain of guile, thievery, however you want to do it, what was the best trick that you ever pulled?
Something behind your ear. Shoes untied.
I would say, I mean, it's almost got to be like some sort of like changeling situation where I put someone I wanted in the place of like a heir to the throne.
Sort of like when
gotta go with the You gave me instructions. I am gonna fit them. I put I'm gonna say a queen. I put a queen on the throne. I'm putting women in this world.
Thank you.
Big trick. Women in the world.
The greatest trick.
Yeah.
The greatest trick she ever pulled.
Yeah. Representation matters. Yeah. So she put some queen. She changelinged. Yeah, like one of her sort of. Do I come up with a race?
You can, like, if you want to do like the general style, like I feel like with the shapeshifters, there's only a couple tropes. So really it's whatever you want to pick from there.
I put one of my shapeshifters as a replacement. And that was my first like big that was the question, right? First big greatest trick ever seen. Yes.
So you pulled this trick and it pissed off one of the other gods. Which god do you want it to be?
Who's the sexist god is the question.
Well, I don't mind if it's revenge guy, because he seems petty and we're supposed to be pretty connected here, so like we should have, you know, some interaction. So
all right, so I got an idea. If we stick within that framework, he was killed by a kingdom. You put the queen on throne in that kingdom he hates. All right. So it pissed off Coldwell because that's the kingdom that killed him. Ooh. All right, we can do that. With the shapeshifters, Any thoughts on how you want those to work? The funniest thing is to describe what they look like when they're not shapeshifted. So I think that's a good starting point.
Man.
How smart do we want them to be?
I would say they're smart enough to know like that they're serving someone, and that they're and that I would say they probably take on something of the knowledge of the person that they shift into. So they would have to be sort of like.
Do you want to have?
I don't know. My instinct is to go that they are full conscious beings. That they have the same level of consciousness as a human.
Gotcha.
They just happen to not be human.
Right. They're magically created. Not really, would they have their own culture even?
Maybe. Maybe they're like hanging out somewhere, and they're like waiting to get called upon by this goddess.
Always like, just loitering in a pocket dimension.
Well, I mean, maybe, or maybe they're
like temps. They're waiting for the call.
They're like out in the world, they're doing their thing. And then there's like this is their version of a warrior, as someone as like a spy or whatever.
Okay, like, what is it called? Sleeper cells.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
They are all sleeper cells for a magic god. What do they look like when they're not shape-shifting? I think like the two ways to go with it is they're really ugly and gross looking,
right?
Or they're surprisingly beautiful and they hate shape-shifting.
Yeah, I kind of almost want to go like they're a little bit like dryads or something, where it's like they inhabit something else, and then if they're called on to become human and whatever race we happen to be talking about that's like calling on this goddess, like they can do it, but like otherwise they're kind of like they're I don't know. Yeah,
they're hanging. They're like in the YMCA, the astral realm, just waiting.
Yeah. Let's do. So yeah, if you want them, let's say they have just like.
I like the idea of this, just them even being in like random villages and stuff, just like as a sleeper cell, like can turn up anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there's something I really like about that, where they're just kind of like they are not. Yeah, it's not necessarily that they have their own little world. It's that they are. They're kind of.
They're like retired CIA guys who just sort of bum around in the suburbs and hate their wife, and then somebody's like, "I got something for you. I found an Arab kid in New Jersey. You gotta fuck with him." And
there's like, okay. They're calling the tip line. They're calling the tip line.
Yeah. It's tough because I see now I'm worried that I'm getting into something that's like that's a little too abstract or like too.
Oh, don't worry about it, because the whole point of this is you have freedom to cook entirely, and then I have to go take all of the information and make a coherent lore out of it later. So whatever you say is canon. There's nothing that will be disallowed. Everything is canon. If it becomes complicated and hard, I told myself, everything's canon. I'll figure out a way to explain it.
Okay. So so they're just kind of like, they're normally like almost like household spirits or something. And then she just like, she'll pick one and be like, no, that's too. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Somebody in the chat was saying they could sounds like most of the time they're like objects, like mimics, like they could be like a lamp,
like Fantasia style.
Yeah, I almost asked the chat for this because this one's a little bit like out of the realm of because it's weird, because it's like I love to invent an origin of a race or whatever, but this feels like it's not really a race because they're not supposed to be like. like, because if there was like a culture of shapeshifters,
yeah,
that
they
would
wouldn't
kind
be
of
like player characters.
Yeah, sure.
I don't
yeah,
fucking
exactly.
let
So I'm
any players play
like,
shapeshifters ever.
No, I hate that shit.
Hate that.
Fucking shut up. I let Patrick do it, and we all hated it, and then he made his character blow up for us. Like, that's right. That's what you get.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's way too complicated and powerful.
I like the idea of like the shapeshifter as like a piece of a storyline. Really is what the easiest way to kind of.
Yeah. So let's say I think the cleanest, like I think the thing I like the most is the idea that that they're almost like kami, like they're like little, they're spirits, they could be anywhere, and then once they get this dictate from this goddess, they kind of like a mimic or a dryad tree, whatever, like that type of like
the commies get activated basically.
And then the goddess activates them, and they have more consciousness than they had before, certainly, and more intelligent. And they as they're taking on the body of the person they're replacing, they get they probably get most of what they need from that. They probably are like and then after a time they would probably be convinced that they are that person. Like they might get to a point where they don't actually remember.
That's cool.
They're like,
so it's almost like would the goddess have to go out there and eject him out of the guy, or
she might not even care. It might be part of her reality show thing that she has.
Yeah, it'd be pretty permanent, and they would forget. Yeah, because they would forget after a point.
That's really fun to you can almost have a player character. You can have a player character be a shapeshifter who then just remembers because of something. Yeah. Oh. And then
because then that way it's not like they're going around and they're shape-shifting all the time.
It's is it like for a defined purpose, basically, right? And then it's that's cool.
They're more like usurpers than shapeshifters. They're more like a.
All right.
That's really cool.
Like changelings, I guess.
I like where those guys are at. All right, let's switch to the
cool.
nobility domain. So you're going to be making 2 kings. The first thing I want you to do is roll a 1d4 to show which campaign these guys are going to show up in.
Okay. 1.
All right, they're showing up in the second campaign.
Okay.
There will be these kings will show up and will be a main part of the second campaign. So, do you want to start with names? Do you want to start with what they look like? We might as well design them at the same time because they are meant to be polar opposites of each other. A good king and a bad king. Where does your mind start?
Well, naturally, they're cousins.
Okay, kings are cousins.
Or something. They're related. They're, each of them thinks that they have a legitimate claim to the whole thing, but really they each currently they each have a smaller kingdom. They want
So we're talking when the original French stuff blew up and you had Lotharingia and every just made up duchies and feudal shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think king. I mean, so here's the tough. It's gonna be tougher for me to come up with a good king than an evil king for sure.
Well, start with the evil king then, because obviously evil king's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean,
Any of them gonna be wizards?
The $1 million question. Yeah, this is the big question.
Okay, I would.
What's more entertaining, a good?
And are they both wizards? Is one a wizard and the other one isn't?
I would say evil king is a wizard because that's fun.
That's fun.
There we go.
Thank you.
Now we're cooking.
And good king, good king probably has a wizard advisor.
Okay, yeah.
But he is,
a fucking dullard.
He came up a more balanced path.
I think a good king would have to be a dumber guy. If you're too smart as a king, it's game over.
Yeah.
You're the first peasant you see, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna grind that guy up into grade.
Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? Hold on.
I probably didn't lean in far enough. Ugh.
Oh, whoa. Okay, that was it. Okay.
Evil guy. Defining what, like facial hair, eyebrows. What is the thing you look at him and you can tell he's evil from?
Ponytail.
Oh, come on! Lots of good guys have ponytails. I was a ponytail guy for 2 years.
Okay, you were a ponytail
yeah,
guy.
everyone I know during the pandemic.
Yeah, I was a ponytail guy.
And they're all evil. And they're all
it is the most evil hair. You know what I said when I had a ponytail all the time? I just said it's dreadlocks for white guys.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that. Nobody bought that.
I would have bought
don't know, because there are white guys with dreadlocks, and they are evil. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if evil is the right word
sexy,
for that. Sometimes I feel some guys are too useless to be evil.
Okay. Let me look at the chat.
Mohawk.
Wait. Oh,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay? One of them has to be beautiful, and one of them has to be ugly.
Look, I'm gonna say evil king. Let's go classic. We're casting Mads Mikkelsen. We're giving him a goatee.
Mikkelsen.
We're giving him
There we go.
you know. Yeah, he's got Hannibal.
He's the
vibes.
first guy to have a goatee. He was the first. You can't shave back then. You couldn't. It was hard to shave. He was the only guy with a goatee. Really.
I love that we're like this guy. You take one look at him and you're like, oh, that guy's a bad person.
Yeah,
that's a bad person. Yeah.
Face. Why not? He's got enough power that it doesn't matter if you can identify.
100%.
What kind of magic do you think he specializes in?
Necromancy.
It's
very is that too cliche?
No, honestly. Non-cliche, but like, there's a reason why it's cliche.
Also, like, this world desperately needs
cliche.
Like it needs fantasy anchors. You're in the right direction. Like,
I'm bringing the archetypes.
I haven't had anybody nobody's wanted to make a goblin. Nobody's wanted to make a dragon.
You have a collective unconsciousness. You have archetypes. It's all very Jungian.
I got fish monsters. I got Quetzalcoatl's. I don't have a lot of straight up stuff. No dragons, no angels, no demons yet.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a god of fire yet, so.
Ooh, maybe I should make a dragon. Oh, okay, but yeah, I actually was gonna tell you I had if I rolled Earth, I had because I saw that Earth.
You get to create an underground race.
I was like, I got a whole thing for goblins.
Oh. That's cool.
Whatever.
I was waiting for somebody to get that one. Yeah, the sentient race ones are always my favorite ones people land on.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, look, I'll be in the chat for support next time. So evil king, good king.
I think with
No, you go ahead.
So
I feel like
they're going to be two different kingdoms. It'll be easy to do a campaign on a border conflict, something like that. Think along those lines. What's the source of power for the good king? If we know the evil king's got magic, he's got this awesome goatee, he can raise the dead. What does the good king have?
Well, I would say,
everything's canon.
Yeah, I don't want to flip. So he's got to have allies. If he's good, he's liked, So hang on, I'm hearing typing in the other room. I feel like
that's me.
Or me.
No. It's Kozo1.
Oh.
I'm trying I am
You got the Birdman hands.
It's so tough because in my mind, good and king is that's a curveball. forget shapeshifters. This is the tough stuff.
We could have a king that would somehow try to evoke some sort of democracy in a Bronze Age. We could do it. Everything's canon.
I mean,
have a king stomp on his own crown.
He's look. I know. I feel like I'm making a lot of weird faces as I'm trying to desperately to conjure something here.
Make as many weird faces as you need. This is a big responsibility.
It is. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, and from the boyfriend in the chat, Goddess sent the good king a shapeshifter helper, so that could be like.
Oh yeah, sent a.
Because I would say my goddess, while she does love, you know, the trickster side, like she loves a good intrigue, she loves a good drama. She's not necessarily like the god of chaos or anything.
Yeah.
Like she's not. She's still very much the god of magic. So her interests, while one of them is yeah, like
palace disorder and intrigue.
Yeah, it's still ultimately like she does like need worshippers. She does need people to want to want to do magic. So I would say that the good king, if the good king is in her favor, he's probably somebody who kind of cultivates like
magical learning.
Yeah, there might even be a magic academy. Let's just go with it.
Okay.
Like, who doesn't love a good wizard school?
Oh, we love a good wizard school.
And so he's created like a kind of a center of enlightenment, and we'll say he's good that way.
The evil guy's more hoarding it for himself.
He's certainly he'd be more hierarchical about it. And also like the source of his power would probably be different. Like this, it's I'm obviously I'm making the goddess of magic, but she doesn't necessarily control all magic.
Yeah.
Right. So she
wouldn't control divine magic or nature magic or things along those lines.
Exactly.
Still have some fingerprint on all of it, I imagine.
We don't like it. Yeah.
Do we want to say he's a warlock, sorcerer, or something like that? Do we want to move him down a darker thing like that, or evil wizard still good? I'm particular to the evil shaman. I'm particular to the evil druid.
Yeah, let's say he's gonna get linked to either to the death god or to another god, but he's while he is still getting his magic by means of some kind of trick or theft, if you will, because I really like that flavor of warlocks, 5th edition warlocks is you can be a warlock through consent of your patron or not. You could just be kind of
and then if they say no, your powers are just gone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until you're good until they notice you. If Cthulhu ever opens his eyes, you are not casting any more spells. But yeah, so he's got some kind of dark thing. He's dark and powerful thing he's pulling from. That's not.
You want to give me
that's not the traditional magic system.
You want to give me a color for each kingdom?
Okay.
Going Warcraft 3 rules in my head.
I'm gonna say good guy. Good guy. We're going purple and
nobility,
green and gold.
Ooh, Frankenstein. I wrote Frankenstein instead of gold.
Additionally, I do understand that purple and green are villain colors.
They are. Purple and green is Green Goblin coded.
For the evil guy, what are we thinking?
I want to go just black and silver.
Let's go Raiders.
Oh.
Joel is gonna like that. He's been pretending to like the Raiders.
Yeah, good for him.
All right, so let me
Joel should really be here to pick the colors of the dark, the evil king. I feel.
All right, so that's all of the domain stuff. I'm gonna do the mortal questions for you now. So with these ones, it's just behavior-based stuff on how your god's gonna act in the world. So, first question: What is the correct way for mortals to worship you? A church, a cult, an order?
Secret shrine.
Secret shrine.
It could be in their home. It could be in the woods. You could be setting up like a little coven situation, or you could be totally on your own. But like, it's secret in the sense that how do I put this?
Is it frowned upon?
This is tricky. Because now I'm realizing, like, wait, I just gave a king. I don't know.
It's all canon. It's all
canon.
I gave a king magic school.
It's all canon.
Yeah.
You still have to worship in secret, no matter how popular it gets.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be silly.
Well, even like if you have a god of nobility, and if you're a king that worships a god, I'd get pissed off if I'm worshiping this god and I'm a king and some peasants are. You're not allowed to worship that. Only me allowed to worship it.
Yeah, or also just like maybe downgrade from secret to private, like private shrine.
Ooh, very demure.
Oh gosh.
Ooh.
What is your attitude towards mortals? Do you like them or do you hate them?
I like them when they're interesting.
That rocks. That's great.
Only
Don't be
interesting mortals.
And interesting could be like you know, to kind of relate it to role-playing game. Like interesting is probably going to be you're an adventurer. You're not an NPC. Like you're somebody who's in pursuit of something, whether it's glory, you know, riches, like that's
someone who's ambitious with their short life. You know, it's like, ooh, you have 80 years to live. That's not a lot of time.
What's this guy gonna do? He'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
For sure.
What is the name of your favorite mortal? You have a favorite mortal. Please give us a name and a brief description.
Good Lord. So many questions. Okay, hold on.
We're at the last end. I got 2 more questions after this.
Okay. My favorite mortal's name. First of all, I think my goddess's name I came up with a couple options earlier, and I really like Chimeria. Do we like that?
I like that.
Yes, we do.
It's like charisma, but it's got a little bit of a magic stank on it. I like that.
Yeah, sure. And then my favorite mortal. Is this like currently or like the first one?
I'm just gonna put this mortal will show up at one of the campaigns.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's currently a guy called Jesper. I wrote
called Jesper. Jesper.
Jespir. So Jesper. Or
Jesper.
I guess. I don't know.
What does Jesper do, and why do you like him?
He's like have you guys read the Witcher books?
I've played the games.
Okay.
I can't imagine they're that different.
Is he like Jaskier?
For some reason I'm going dandelion in my
brain.
Yeah. You know, he's interested. Like he's interested in the when there's action going on in the world, and he's been kind of in pursuit of that. Unlike Dandelion, he would probably be more directly like, no, I want to change the outcome of events to things that I think are more interesting. So he's just kind of like
not a wimp like Dandelion.
Yeah.
Yes.
More just like, but he's the guy that like he shows up, and you know he kind of fucks with the heroes a little bit. Maybe gets them out of trouble. Maybe they have to get him out of trouble. I don't know, but like he's that type of guy where she's really into that because she sees herself in him, that he's like so yeah, so maybe he would be a bit, I don't know if,
I think he'd be more of like an active guy, like maybe a foil to the party, somebody who helps them, somebody who shows up in and out, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's
got to be beautiful,
a sorcerer or a bard.
He's got to be
hot, hot and tricky.
He is
gorgeous, like
he's
8
got,
abs. This thing,
like
got one of those.
Yeah.
He's like he's a very pretty boy. He's like Bishunin coated.
Love it.
Does Chimera have any fear or hope? Do they experience that feeling?
Interesting.
What do they want out of the world?
Oh man, sorry. She wants like magic. She wants more magic. She wants more people to be to pursue sorry, I am like
No, you're good. This is the last question too, so if it's too much stuff, we're at the end here.
Yeah, what does she
want? Any kind of,
would...
like, to a certain end, to have more people learning magic? Is there a specific end to it? Is it just the for the sake of the game?
Maybe maybe there's like a critical amount of like wizarding in the world that could be reached that would actually like allow her to experience mortal life for a little while.
Ooh,
that's pretty cool.
As an idea, you're really far. Like, she was a legend. She was an idea. She's all these things.
She's never been a mortal.
And now she is a conscious being somewhere, right? But it's very difficult for her to manifest. So like, she can only do it if there's like a lot of magic going on.
Okay. So the more magic there is in the world, the more even stable her own existence is. Or am I extrapolating?
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say like this doesn't preclude if you want to have her like manifest at some point, like, but it's just like she would only be able to do it for like a couple of minutes to an hour.
It would almost, her manifesting
would
be like her casting a spell.
Yeah. But if she, I think there's
almost
like a certain amount of magic practitioners, she would actually be able to like come live a life and see what that's like.
It's like at the whim of others, almost. She manifests currently and only for a short time, but for her own self, for her own desire to live, her own reason to manifest. You know.
Yeah. Because I think so far I've been describing someone who gets a lot of vicarious enjoyment out of people.
Yeah.
So
it would make sense they would want to be mortal.
Desire would be that to like have her own.
I like that.
All right, I got one last thing for you to roll. That's going to determine your relationship to the god that Patches is going to make here. So go ahead and roll me a D8.
Okay.
And I forgot which ones we've done. We've already done best friend. We've already done partner. We've already done rival and enemy and mentor.
I rolled a 6.
6. We already did that one. Enemy. We already have 2 enemies. I'm maxed out on enemies.
8.
All right. So we're going to start out. Patches, your god is going to be a student. Was a student at one point.
Oh.
All right.
I love that.
All right. So we're starting you out.
That's super fun.
As a relationship, as at one point you were a student. What that means is up to you. Patches, are you ready for us to start rolling for your stuff?
Oh,
we got Chimera all wrapped up. She is the goddess of magic, tricksters, and nobility. We have a structure of how magic works. We know the first wizards, we know the shapeshifters, we know the kings, and we know the tricks that she has pulled on other gods and goddesses. All right. Animosity towards Coldwell being one of the main real things that kind of work with your goddess there. All right. Patches, you're up. So let me get back to the top here. We are going ahead and go and roll your origin. So go ahead and roll me a d4.
I will. I have one question for the first wizards. I might have stepped away for that one. Who were they again? Are they the
first wizard was a princess at
the princess,
one of the
right?
So I'm just going to plug
the princess who was doing all kinds of intrigue crap.
Yeah, she wanted to usurp, and at one point we have a queen that gets created, so we can either run that as two separate people or two.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, I'll roll the d4. All right, I got a 4.
4. You are an enigma god.
Ooh.
Even amongst divine beings, you are viewed as particularly cryptic and mysterious. When it comes to your beginnings, you either do not remember, don't understand, or find it too boring to repeat. You may remember multiple contradicting origin stories. Either way, you represent apocrypha, the doubtful, the mysterious, the unknowable nature of the divine. So there is one other enigma god. I believe it was... Which one? Zoth. Zoth was an enigma god.
Cool.
So how Zoth was created was a meteor came down onto the planet, went to the ocean, and then when Murtu arrived, a spark was created and it woke up. So you don't really have to explain your beginnings. You can if you want to, but the whole point of Enigma God is you are an enigma. All right? Okay. But you will have some sort of connection to Zoth. So you will have some sort of connection to Zoth.
Okay. Okay, I like that.
All right, let me write that down. Okay, let's go to your elemental domain.
Okay.
So we have 3 left. We have... Put that as red.
It's a D.
We got fire, earth, and light. We have 3 left, though, so you might even want to do a D4 and re-roll on 4s.
That sounds... Yeah, let's just do that.
And remember,
and we'll just go in order.
You can pick one with your rule if you want to.
Okay. And can I do that for any?
You can do that for any list at all.
Okay. Okay. Let me look at these.
You got fire, earth, and light. Yeah, I know that in light, it's like what you decide what the sun is. The earth, you describe what's underground. I know for fire, you tell me what's in the center of the earth.
I'll re-roll again.
All right.
Got a 2, so that's going to be earth. I'm guessing.
Earth. Right? All right. You want to stick with that one?
Let me think.
This god's domain is the breath of all land on earth. What is the biosphere of the underground? How do they sustain life without the sun? Design one sentient race that has achieved to create civilization here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So with that one, you're going to get the underground. All right. So the 2 gods.
Contribute.
So the 2 gods we have next week for Elliot and TJ are going to be fire and light. So I'm interested to see how they go with that one. We got fire and light left. And then we're going to have Hessa do the 9th god, and I have a different table we're going to roll for that. So
nice.
All right, so we got the Earth.
God, I'm 2 degrees away from Hessa. This is so exciting.
Yeah, so we got the list 1 domains here. Go ahead and roll a d20.
All right. I got a 4, which is nature.
Nature. A little on the nose for Earth. How you feeling? Do you want to stick with that one, or do you want to use your pick a different one?
Yeah, I might want to pick a different one. It's kind of on the nose.
You rule over the divine domain of nature, the wilderness, and forests everywhere. As civilizations crept towards the forest, you created ancient guardian creatures, and you offered the spirits of the forest sanctuary in a plane of existence that reflects your unique vision of nature. So basically, you create the Feywild, and then you create what your magical guardians would be for that one.
The only reason why it might be worth keeping is because it's like, it's kind of, if I'm enigmatic and I do nature, and it's figuring out the enigmatic element within something so on the nose is kind of fun.
I can have you roll the next list too, and you can decide between one of those.
Is that all right?
Yeah, why not? Hell, and who cares? Not a lot of rules in this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Go ahead and
roll this one. It's
D20.
Also 20. Okay. All right, let's see what we get here. We got a 5, which is suffering. Oh,
suffering. Earth, nature, and suffering without any rolls there. How do you feel about those?
Ooh, the little Catholic in me is very excited by suffering. Ooh, Earth, nature, and suffering. Let me review the list for 1 second. I want to see if there's anything. God, that's pretty good.
There's some meaty ones on the first list too.
Yeah.
War is still available. Chaos is still available. I liked agriculture. Everybody's telling me that was a lame one. I thought agriculture
That's not lame
was
at
cool.
all.
I thought it would be cool to be got agriculture.
Oh,
cool.
That could be really fun.
Yeah, because you gotta remember, like, with agriculture comes like human invention.
Yeah. The idea of, and also just the idea of there being sort of a like shrugging your shoulders when you try to plant shit
like
is very.
Being a farmer is suffering,
and it's enigmatic, and it's just like unclear sometimes how that works.
It would really, it would be like very funny to have farmers as the ones who are the recipient of this constant suffering.
Just suffering farmers is it does scratch an itch. Oof.
Yeah, we still got prophecy. We got moon available. Got love is still available.
This one.
Earth loves
suffering.
Moon. Earth loves suffering. You rule over divine nature. The moon. Okay, so moon. I kind of want to strength. Ooh. Prophecy. And what is it? With nature is divine nature. Forest, sanctuary, plane of existence, reflections, unique vision of nature. I think I'll use my veto to do agriculture.
Oh, really?
That's too funny.
All right.
I think it's too funny.
We are going.
I gotta see what I can.
Bestow suffering on farmers, or are you gonna?
It's up to him.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out as I roll.
All right.
I've done my part.
No. You're gonna keep.
You rule over the divine domain of agriculture, the harvest, and food. You gifted the mortal races with their most prolific food crop, enabling them to sustain large civilizations. And they dedicated massive holiday festivals to you in their honor. What is your crop? How do they celebrate you, and what do they call it? So with the holiday, I'm imagining this is one of the biggest holidays of the year, Thanksgiving equivalent, Christmas equivalent, however you want to do it. All right, so we got Earth, agriculture, and suffering. Let me roll it back up and start getting the Earth questions here.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. Ooh,
all right, let's get this going here. At any point you want to start talking about your appearance or your name or any of that, go ahead and give it to me. But we can kind of push it along here. All right, so let's talk about the underground. Yes. Everybody knows the Underdark in 5e. Basically, there is going to be an Underdark in this world. What that looks like is completely up to you. Tell me about the underground biome. What are its traits? What does it look like from afar? What are we working with here?
Okay. Knowing that agriculture is a big part of what I do, the thought that came to my mind was that any actual like agriculture or planting that goes on started underground, and I like the idea of having some sort of some adventurer who ventured underground and discovered like the first seed or something, and like figured out how to grow plants from there, but like underneath the earth is like a inexplicably verdant, like lush, and not like Underdark lush, not like bioluminescent, like more like the foothills of England, and Scotland.
Like you can't even see the ground.
Yeah, like rolling hills, like
Elysium style.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's like I think it's rugged still. There's something real rugged about it, but it's not. It's. I mean, as far as the, I'm thinking about like how you could even. It's almost. I'm trying to think about like if there's any light down there, or like you have to have dark vision or of some kind to even appreciate it. It's like otherwise you're just kind of walking on hills in darkness.
I feel like the trope is always bioluminescence at the top of it creates like a weird artificial stars somehow. But we don't even have to do that. You can have all life springing from underground sulfur plumes or whatever. Like it's
I even think
like even thinking about like when I think about underground stuff in fantasy, how much work are mushrooms doing? Really?
Right.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, mushroom time.
Yeah.
Well, even taking it from thinking about my relationship with Zoth here.
Oh yeah.
So he had a meteor that crashed through the sky into the ocean, right? And then that meteor got activated almost? Like, what
the
exactly?
arrival of a god. We have it in varied terms. So basically, when Murtu arrived to the realm, he was the first actual fully fledged divine. There's divine energy on the planet that awaked and coalesced into a god when he arrived. So the
like the idea. Yeah, keep going.
No, that's basically it.
Okay, I like the idea of the meteor inexplicably making the ocean do a Zoth thing. That's fine. And something about the meteor hitting the bottom of the ocean and almost leaking, in essence, into the underground to provide this, like, something, and like
rampant
the idea of
growth, you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
something like that.
Are we talking about like pastoral verdant, or are we talking like jungle verdant?
What do you think, Lizzie?
Oh man, I was thinking almost like
An underground jungle sounds kind of crazy. I kind of like it, but I liked the idea of like pastoral English rolling hills too.
It fits in with agriculture a little bit better.
Yeah, that would be the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the mushroomy.
Yeah, having the mushroomy parts of it. Yes, I want there to be bouquets of mushrooms down there, like
beautiful mushrooms.
Yeah. I like the idea of it being pastoral. It looks like
Can people live down there then?
But also the underground, I mean, the world is the size of the world, right?
Yeah.
So underground is only the tiniest bit smaller, so you could just have a jungle somewhere.
Yeah.
It could be. Can people live down there? I think only the sentient race.
Okay.
That lives down there, and then as we discuss, maybe there'll be like one weird trick they can do. I saw somebody say that in the chat. I like that. Something they can do that makes people be able to live down there.
Oh yeah.
And because it's enigmatic, I want there to be something about, like, I'm trying to think more about what that means to be kind of unknowable. Have a race that can lives down there easily, and then somebody else stumbles down there and they just like somehow like
they don't know the rules, or maybe there's
either it's like social faux pas, or they fucking like
stalker-esque rules to the of underground.
Exactly. Like it's like the zone, and like their head like fucking ends up becoming a total recall, exploding, and they like come down there and everyone's like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you saying hi?" Like just something like that. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about the species then. You got anything in mind?
Oh man. I'm trying to think. I had like a.
I mean, the trope is underground, right? Is like dwarves, gnomes,
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty classic.
Goblins. Goblins, I consider like hillside trash. You know.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, that's more of a 5e goblin, I guess. The goblins, I guess, the Tolkien ones are underground, right?
I guess I.
He used like orcs and goblins interchangeably, so I always got confused with him.
Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe this is just homebrew stuff that I've thought of, but I thought of goblins as sort of like, well, no, I think of them as like cave dwellers, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
like they give orcs dark vision and say they're cave dwellers.
People with like their faces on their stomach.
But you could be like,
is that what you're thinking? Like, people with their faces on their stomach?
Yeah, they got their faces on their tummy.
All right, that is canon. People with their faces on their stomach. How biologically, like, is the rest of their body? Like, is it like right here in the torso, and then like, do they have heads?
I think I think up there they got heads, and in the heads, they have a lot of biological functioning that you wouldn't associate to be in the heads.
They have heads. But
maybe the heart is in the head or something.
Don't have faces. They have a unique.
Of wigs.
Of wigs?
Squigs from Warhammer.
No, what were the Gwigs?
Squigs are like they're like cultivated by goblins in that thing, but they're they're like a they got 2 legs usually, and then
Oh, I see them.
Yeah.
I kind of like
big mouth, a lot of teeth. But I don't know that they're not necessarily intelligent. So but that's just what I was picturing. Sorry.
I can't. No. I those things like that can be their pets. I want them to. I want them to have like a fucking face on their stomach. I think they have. I think
they
it's
have their
like
hearts in their heads.
Their hearts in their heads, and then I think the idea is that like they can be dwarves, they can be elves. It's kind of a mirror, maybe a bit of a mirror world almost, of where it's like, oh, it's all the races that we're used to seeing there, but they just got their faces on their stomach, and they don't make a lot of sense to us.
Oh, so they're like completely foreign. Like it's like not even.
Yeah, I want it to be kind of like they're friendly or they're not, and you really can't get the fucking gist of them. Like everyone's like, I don't get those guys. I know they're down there, and
they're like fuck. I got fuck. I have to go talk to those. Are they good at fighting? Are they good at magic? Are they just as capable at everything as we are?
Oh, magic. I think magic, and that's the connection to our girl here. My brain, Chimeria, is like, is the like. There's something about my god who took from Chimeria or learned from Chimeria, and
pass that on to your
pass that on to my little fucking fuckers. And like I think I like the idea of that I was a student, and then I was like, Mom, look what I made, and these things look like shit. And you were so bummed.
Yeah.
Because you're like, why didn't you
so
make something
ugly.
Beautiful? Why didn't you?
Please keep them in your room.
Yeah. Why didn't you make these pretty? And it's like, and I was like, they are beautiful. I love them. And it's like they are.
Focus enough on aesthetics.
Yeah. They all have halitosis. Like their breath stinks. Like they just are. Oh yeah, this is fun.
Oh man. All right. So any kind of unit, like, are we humanoid? Could be dwarves, could be gnomes. Doesn't really matter what size they are. Do they have any interesting physical features? I mean, are any tails?
Hold on. something. Norm's respecter here. I like that idea that they're giant.
Oh,
they're just fucking huge.
Oh, how big?
The tunnels have to be pretty big. Or no, we already said it's not.
They walk through verdant fields.
Yeah,
stomping around like big dummy giants.
So
I like that.
Picturing like Elden Ring.
These will be
this landscape down there, and just instead of sky, it's dirt. I guess.
These will be a playable character, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Then, Branson. How big can they be?
They could be 10 feet tall. That's as big as a Goliath is.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I won't go bigger than that. Yeah. They're kind of like Gorons almost.
Yeah. I mean, almost. It's like I get Attack on Titan vibes a little bit from these guys.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like it's within their race to be kind of mutated almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if 2 10 feet tall, whatever these are called, have a baby, is it just random what it looks like?
Random how?
I don't know.
Okay.
How did if these things like
maybe they have
what are you
any
thinking?
Shape-shifting characteristics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you mean.
Maybe perhaps due to some of the mysteries that with which
if they're innately magical. I mean, that's like the Furlborg rule.
Like, can they take on another form besides stomach face?
Stomach face?
Are they
no. They're fucked that way. They're fucked that way. But you're not. But I will say, from a shape-shifting perspective and thinking about the relationship there, and kind of tying it with what you're saying, Branson, I kind of like the idea of like the babies they have. Maybe they start out like.
Fuck these things, man. Fucking.
Oh, I want them to like their personality is just like I want it to just be awful. Like
their personality is awful.
They have terrible personalities.
Why did he create them? Why did this guy want these around? Does he think they're cool?
He thinks they're sick.
The god.
You can't make a race and then give them a universal personality. Like, if they're a sentient
That's
race,
true. It's probably bad.
They're all going to be somewhat awful in different ways.
Yeah,
to each other, they're fine. To each other, they're just normal guys.
And they don't. And that by awful, I don't even mean like. It's not like they're like malicious. They're just like. You're not supposed to do that.
The guy. I also like the guy. These guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're rude by default. Like frankness is a virtue to an extent that any normal surface dweller would consider extreme rudeness.
Well, when your face is on your stomach, you cut a lot of the malarkey.
Yeah. Okay. Shape-shifting perspective. I just got an idea because I was thinking about the agriculture thing. And I was thinking like, oh, well, this is stupid, but this is where the thought came from, which is like, well, their faces are closer to the ground, so they're probably better at growing stuff. But then I thought, hold on. Yeah. But then I thought, hold on. What if you plant these fuckers and then they grow? They start off as fucking corn or whatever.
They start off as plants.
Yeah.
Okay. If they're a plant creature, that kind of...
That's the dryad thing.
Because I was almost picturing like giant meat wad.
Me too.
So okay.
I was picturing the guy from Our Real Monsters.
No, it is that guy. They just start as a plant and then they get more organic as they grow and then they pop. And then they pop out.
And then they're meat.
And then they're meat.
Yeah, so they are okay.
So they're plants they start as plants and they grow into meat. Do they fall off of like a tree, or do they grow out of a bush like a pineapple?
What color do they bleed?
Oh, those are both great questions.
We really got. I mean, this is more questions we've had about any individual thing. Is trying to figure.
Okay. So they grow on trees. They are blades of grass. They are.
I was gonna have to ask what was going on with their genitals, and this precludes that question.
I was gonna ask that too, but I decided not to.
I wasn't the only one thinking it.
Genital situation.
I was thinking of the two of them making out.
No, you don't have to answer that now. They grow on trees. We're good.
I'm gonna answer that. So I'm gonna answer the fuck out of that. No. I think. Let me put some guardrails on this to help us out here. I like the idea of, and also to make sure that there's. I think. Okay,
everything's canon.
I think that I know, but for I think okay. I like the idea of them being like there's like a field of them. Like you have to plant them like a real crop, which points to the agriculture area. So like I don't know if they showed up underground as a crop, but there was always one of them tending to these crops. Those crops become them, and so they start, and their crops are like they look like either like stalk based like corn or fucking like corn keeps coming to mind like a corn maze.
Yeah.
Well,
and then like
more like a root guy, like a root vegetable.
Yeah.
Like where you'd pull them up. No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
No, you're right. No,
like
I'm an idiot, Lizzie.
Maybe on their.
That's so good.
Maybe on their head they have like something you can grab to pull.
Yes, and you grab them up.
Be lumpy and rooty, and that their face would be like down in the.
Yes, and you grab them up that's when they're born, and they're like these little guys at first. And you pick them up, and they're just like these little Our Real Monster guys.
Yeah, they're fucking stomping. Oh god, I hate these fuckers, dude. Nobody can figure out why. The enigma of this, nobody knows to what end does this civilization exist.
Yeah, why does anybody?
They don't know who's in charge. They don't know
who wants these guys around.
If I was like an elf and I had to deal with one of these guys, I'd be so pissed off. What do you want to name them?
Oh man. I mean, I Guppy.
The Guppy?
The Guppies.
The Guppies.
Guppy.
All right.
Yeah.
So far, I have the Carps, the Guppies. I haven't got any elves, no orcs, no. All right, let's cut to the agriculture one. I think that was the first one, right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so now there's a common species of crop. This is the main cash crop like grain or corn or whatever that built societies. So
Oh, I like. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I saw someone in chat said. Well, someone in chat said mandrakes, which was
because they are like the Harry Potter mandrakes.
Oh yeah.
And then someone else came up with mandragora as like a. Yeah, I would say a fantasization of the name for mandrakes, like a good.
I like the idea of them being called the mandragora, but everyone calls them guppies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have an official name of mandragora,
but nobody wants
like guppy. Guppy is like a slur that everyone else calls them.
Fucking guppies.
Yeah, and then
I hate seeing two of them make out.
The idea that they're very much infected by the fact that you are the suffering domain god.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But do they suffer?
No.
No, they don't.
They just make everyone else.
They're the secret to understanding them is that they're the only beings that don't suffer.
Yes.
Oh man.
They are fine.
All right. The main crop. What is the crop that built civilization?
Okay.
A crop that you gifted to mortals to show how much you like them. Or a different reason. Either way, you created it.
The dark potato.
Go on. The dark potato. What's dark about it?
When you cut it open, it's black inside.
Black potato.
Yeah.
Is it different at all from a potato other than the fact that it is black? Is it good?
Somehow
I don't know if it's good. I'm trying to think if it gives you dysentery.
It is a god of suffering.
Oh God.
I'm thinking if it's like sort of like when you travel to another country and you have their water for the first time. It's not just Mexico, folks. It's and then you just are like, oh, I'm on the toilet now. There's something to like when you first have a black potato, you're gonna be shitting, and then you're gonna enjoy them for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's like if you eat a potato that's just been soaking in black coffee.
Yeah. The first time you eat one, it is a nightmare experience.
It's an acquired taste.
Yes, and it becomes a sort of like a ritual of like, oh, he's 5, he's gonna have his first black potato, and this kid is just shitting on the toilet and it tasted like coffee, and he's so mad.
There's an entire regional cuisine somewhere that is based entirely upon the black potato.
Yes. Oh yeah.
All right. So if we have agriculture, what was the second one you got?
Suffering.
It was
suffering.
Suffering. Yeah. I'm trying to sneak suffering in as much stuff as I can, in case you haven't noticed.
No, please do. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I fucking hate the guppy.
Yeah, the guppy's terrible.
All right. So for agriculture, still need to figure out your holiday. We have the dark potato. What is the big blowout holiday? Do you know your guy's name or appearance yet at all, or do you want to switch gears?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. I know he's an enigma, or they're an enigma.
Do you want to switch to the suffering stuff before we do the holiday?
Let's try to figure out who this person is. Let's do that. I'm down to pivot in this way a little bit.
All right.
I think also, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, of course.
I also think like Lizzie, for Chimera, like I like the idea of like there being this like kind of like I showed you my guppies, you're like, these are terrible. Like there is like a maternal relationship maybe there, or some kind of like student teacher thing there. Like, do you think that Chimera discovered that there was like another enigmatic god that wasn't Zoth and like took this one under her wing, or where's your head at with that?
Sorry, I know I'm frozen, and I look.
Yeah, it's fine. I was like, I guess she's mad at me.
Yup. No. Okay. Wait, what was your question again? Like,
it's like,
how do I feel about you?
Yeah,
or how
yeah,
Chimera feel about him?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that obviously he was one of her most talented students. To ascend, or to either have already been a god when he came to her for education, or to have ascended to godhood, whichever it is.
Right.
So I think he's
I like the idea of him. No. I like that idea of like him like being a like. She must have been like maybe this guy was like handsome and interesting and funny, and then he found like the meteor or something. Like
you went to the bathhouse and contacted Zoth.
Yeah. And then like just came out the other side like not what you wanted.
Just like all over. Just became a Dr. Bronner's guy.
Yeah.
I do also like to think that Chimera is somebody who intercepts a lot of calls to other gods.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I would think that she would have kind of like maternal feelings towards him, where she would be like, "Oh, like he's very creative. He's very
he's very
like,
creative.
All stuff, but like, you know, but almost like
he just doesn't get it.
It's a little embarrassing to create the guppies.
Yeah,
it's a little like I really like we established that before, and I really like keep coming back to it.
Just I like the guppies. No, every god's gonna be pissed off about the guppies.
I like the promise that this guy had too. Like he made like the Earth.
Yeah.
Like he created the Earth and then just like over something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something must have happened.
So like you'd never know. He's an enigma.
Maybe Zoth has like a connection to him that you don't know about. Like there's something like just
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you were my student, I liked you a lot, and I thought like, oh, this kid's going places, and then
Zoth keeps talking to him.
I mean, all right.
Yeah. Like maybe I like the idea of like I'm like scrying and like looking I just the meteor imagery in my head. I like the idea of this guy just like becoming obsessed with the meteor and just staring at it and scrying and looking at it and like you know you like come into his chambers, you're like, hey, everything all right? No, yeah, fine, I'm doing okay, I'm fine, I'm good. How are you? It's like, oh, we have a lesson today. You have to come to the. Oh yeah, of course. But he's just like obsessed with it, and like he just slowly gets weirder and worse to be around.
What clicked for? When did you like? Were you always a god, or was there a moment where you clicked and godhood was like achieved?
Yeah. What? Well, can you wait, Branson? Can you read the enigma thing again?
Yeah. Good call.
I was having trouble finding. Actually, why don't I just use Control F like an adult? There we go.
Or you could just scroll up a bunch.
Particularly cryptic and mysterious. When it comes to your beginnings, you either do not remember, don't understand, or find it too boring to repeat.
You don't. The main thing about an enigma god is you can't over-explain it.
Right. I like the idea of him just staring at the meteor for a long enough time that something weird, like staring at it for long enough time that like it's like suddenly I'm not your student, and it's like unclear as to when that happened, and like I made guppies and black potatoes, and like just like it just started to get weirder, and you couldn't even trace how that happened.
I think maybe there's like a bougie element to it too, because maybe you're the god of intrigue and nobility, and you got this little fucker making these nasty like nobody. It's not worthy of consumption or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, you know. She does. It's not that she'll break rules, but she like rules are part of it for like. And he's just like, who needs rules? Like I got dirt. Like, I'll just play with this.
Check out these guys.
Yeah.
Just their big heads with a heartbeat in it.
I like. Yeah. Oh God, what's his name?
I can't stop thinking Meatwad.
Yeah. I still
it could be. Something like, oh man, maybe it's like his name used to be like Alonso, and now he's just Wad.
Wad.
Oh.
like he stopped responding to his like handsome Playboy name, and he
started
responding.
Suffering.
Yeah.
You want to stick with Wad?
Wad is pretty good. I'm having fun.
W-A-D Wad.
Yeah.
Formerly Alonso.
Yeah. He used to have like a handsome Latin lover name. And then he became Wad.
And then what does your appearance look like then? What does Wad look like?
Oh man.
gotta have a hunchback, right? I mean,
yeah. I think you
speaks of bad posture.
From an enigmatic standpoint, it's like maybe before when you looked at him, he just looked like the most handsome person that whoever it was could imagine. And then over time, he looked like the person you hate most with a hunchback. And like that's like what he looks like to everybody. The guy you don't like.
What if the guy you don't like the most is him?
Your nose starts bleeding. No, I don't know. Maybe thinking like, I do like a, I do like a hunchback.
I do like a hunchback.
I do like a hunchback.
It's not to like.
A hunchback? Oh, a hunchback. That's like, okay. I want it to be a hunchback, and like, when you see it, it has the texture of a meteor, of like like molten rock meteor. I'm just obsessed with that kind of like connection there.
Yeah.
And
so like under other circumstances, this would be a guy who's got like a bunch of tumors.
Yes. This he'd be very tumorous.
But because he's a god,
but he's fine.
Kind of lumpy.
He's completely fine. No, he's embraced suffering. He's good.
Yeah. Okay.
And then maybe his did his face move to his stomach? I don't know. Maybe not. No, let's leave that for the guppies. They can have that.
we can put one of his mouths on his hand. We can put his nose on his other hand. We can do lots of stuff. Everything's canon.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he could have two faces too.
Oh, maybe the top. I was seeing like pumpkin patch growing on his head. I like that idea, Galazzo Boy 666. The idea of it being like that, his like he does have like a garden, like he does have agriculture elements to him. Maybe he's got a humpback, and he's got plants growing out of the meteor holes in his humpback, and he still retains his like handsome face, but it's just been like distorted and warped. I think he like still like look like you can like see that like, oh man, this guy get like hit by a frying pan? Like what happened? Like I don't understand. Yeah.
Something's a little off with him, but vaguely humanoid.
Yeah. Yes.
It seems like he's happy though.
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah,
it seems like everybody's mad at him.
He's always smiling, and he's just like.
Yeah, he's fine.
I don't think he's a very popular god. I don't think this guy's a very popular god at all.
No.
All right. Okay, so what we have to finish still is the holiday. Does that help at all on the holiday?
Oh, yes, it does. It's got to be It's got to be a harvest fest. I mean, black potato, or dark potato, I should say, grows year round. There's no. So I'm trying to think of what the like harvest day is. Is it like when they get to eat something that isn't the dark potato? Probably.
The main animal crop is manatees, as determined by Zoth. The domesticated animal species is manatees.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are coastal shepherds.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yes. That's an Okie. That's an Okie one.
What if it's like a coral-based harvest day?
Ooh,
like
coral-based.
Like people go to the ocean, and like,
yeah, it's like a time of plenty or something.
Yeah, and people go into the ocean and draw up coral, and it's like all these vibrant colors, and you get little, probably meat stuffs in the coral from like fishes and shit, like little fucking minnows and stuff. Maybe you scrap up a sea urchin. It's almost like a a harvest holiday that celebrates going to the sea and drudging up a bunch of like beautiful coral.
Yeah.
And then people have dark potato coral dishes that they put together.
All right, so it'll be like an ocean. What do they do? Is this like? Are we doing like early Catholic Lent Are we doing everybody gets wasted? Are we doing like big party? What's the vibe of this one?
There's a lot of like party stuff, right? I was seeing like the revelry, like the revenge thing as a party thing.
For the gods, the main Mount Olympus is this place called the bathhouse. The bathhouse is like a social club almost where all the gods meet. Zoth goes there.
Yeah. But is he just the water? What does he do there?
He is he made sure to say that Andrew made sure to say that Zoth is the hot tub.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't think we have to. I don't want to be too incongruous and ascetic. I think the idea of it being like that it's like a big celebration. People make coral crowns.
Maybe
they get drunk.
They leave the guppies are left alone.
Yeah.
You have to be nice to the guppies.
You have to be nice to the guppies. Actually, I love this. It's like a harvest holiday where it's like everyone's gonna get drunk, and part of it is because it's the day that the guppies come up from the surface to hang out.
Oh, it's the day
and they're like, we have to get drunk.
Yeah,
like this is gonna suck. Like. We have to get fucked up.
They just want to like shake hands with people. Like it's not really sure what they want up there.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes
they'll want to hang out with people, or are they?
Yeah, the guppies kind of want to hang out.
I don't know.
They might want to hang out.
I think the guppies are just like they don't think about what they're doing up there, but whoever sent them up there is like, let's just go mess with these people.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll like chew on one of them.
The god of suffering seems to be way more focused on like annoyance suffering than like pain or really.
Yeah, no.
The god of suffering is with the god of annoyance.
Yeah.
Is there any like worship of him on this holiday, or like does he not need like a ritual or anything?
I think no. I think he's kind of kept out of the limelight. I think most people don't like. I think probably between you and all the other gods, it's like we don't really want people to know about him. Like he is responsible for like food though, so we gotta like keep him around. But like maybe only a few people like actively worship him. I don't know.
It's kind of like I would feel like if you're a priest of like Murtu and somebody's worshiping Wad, you'd be like, let's keep it quiet. Let's
can you relax there?
Kind of push down. I feel like within the established pantheon, Wad would be like, he's not.
Wad is for the guppies.
He's not the first god you pray to.
Yeah, right.
Way down there.
No, and as like that would be another reason I would find him slightly annoying is that like as an Enigma god, he's gonna exist no matter what. He's just there.
Yeah.
Like, whereas I need people to worship me, or I will like
stop existing. And there's this fucker who's just fucking around, really.
Yeah, it's just like what the.
Coz. Okay. That's a very good idea. The idea of it being a Halloween style holiday. Where people dress up to try to keep the guppies away.
Oh god, that's good. All right.
Yeah, get out of here.
To keep the god and the guppies away. Just like we're gonna dress up and get drunk and try to scare and the guppies don't like come and like take the harvest. They're just awful.
They're not malicious at all.
No.
God.
No, but would they be well understood within surface culture, or would they just be kind of like
I think the first time the guppies showed up, it was a bloodbath.
Right. So
it was like kill that thing.
Wow.
It may or may not be.
I would imagine in like established areas, there's probably like it's
like the
caves.
opposite of Thanksgiving. It's like they're like the first time they ate bread together. They broke bread. They just killed each other. Yeah.
Like I have to imagine that people are like. Threatening their kids with like, if you're not good, guppy as well.
There's already a race that steals children. One of Moki's race, the angler, like the Gungan style, the Gungan style thing. They're like a coastal ocean civilization, and they just want to barter to get human babies to raise them underwater.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So there's a lot. If you want to give away your baby in this world, there's a lot of options. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that on the agriculture. You want to move to the suffering?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first
talking about the suffering.
Yeah.
First up is going to be where was I? Wait, hold on, did I go too far? Oh wait, we already did that one. Suffering. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You rule over the divine domain of pain, suffering, and penance. Early in the history of this realm, you caused a magical artifact to release suffering into the world.
Oh, cool.
This suffering made its way into a mortal who suffered greater than any other. He now walks the earth as your demigod. So first thing we're going to do is figure out the magical artifact. Pandora's box style artifact that unleashed suffering into the world. What was it and how'd you open it? And we don't have to do it as royal sounding as like you released all suffering into the world.
Sure, yeah.
But there will be a magical artifact that will be legendary status that will be directly tied to your power that can unleash suffering. So describe how that object exists, what it looks like, if it's a weapon, if it's an amulet, however you want it to be.
Just imagine the Chinese finger trap. And
I really like that.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. That's so fucking annoying.
The Chinese finger trap. And, oh, man.
What happens if you put it on with somebody or put it on yourself? Can you get it off ever?
No.
It never comes off.
Never comes off.
What if you cut off?
Is that it? Is that all it does?
No, it's got to do more. Like, yeah, just a psychic wave of that. Like,
I mean, it's a pretty powerful artifact. It means you're bound to somebody forever, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you chop your finger off.
It could also be, mental, right? Like it could be like physically, sure, it came off. But I'm now stuck knowing what that guy's thinking at all times, or whatever. Like,
oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, you're
or maybe
right.
you share suffering with the person.
Yes, that's good. I'm thinking of
feel their pain.
Yeah, I think that's how suffering spread, was through this horrible Chinese finger trap. People kept showing it to each other. He'd be like, "Yo, dude, check this out."
Getting caught.
The guy at a party saying, "I want to show you something," over and over.
Pull my finger.
I imagine like two guys just hitting themselves in the leg so the other person feels it.
Yes. Oh yeah, and this is the demigod. The demigod is maybe conjoined.
Okay.
Twins conjoined at the finger.
Roll me a D100, or roll me a D20, and we're going to the list 1 domain, and this demigod will be in charge of this.
Okay. Okay. List 1 domain. Okay, scrolling up. I got a 14, so wisdom.
All right, we're going to have the demigod of wisdom.
Oh man.
All right.
It's two dudes stuck together at the finger.
And this is the wisest man. Maybe he got trapped in this finger trap so long he like got coerced into being like a Buddha-like figure.
Yeah, I like the idea. It's if the end of Stuck on You. Do you remember that? They figure out how to live together. They figure out how to make it work. You know? That takes a lot of wisdom and zen.
There is a lot of... Yeah,
well, it's only one guy, so whoever he was with...
Oh, I was thinking it would be two guys.
Oh, okay, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah.
Yes. I like the idea of two guys stuck at the Chinese finger, and they wander the earth together and have figured out a way to live together. And that wisdom, it's very, it's about how do we live with one another, you know?
Okay. So let me do. I gotta do the wisdom.
The artifact is stuck with the demigods.
Yes.
Like no one else, at least. That's good. That's preventing normal people from getting.
Yeah.
Well, early it can change. We could always get.
It could change.
Yeah.
It could change. Branson, you can make it that it's like that. That's just the like, metaphysical sort of version of it that exists within gods, but there's like a physical one that's out there that.
Well, with every age too, there's a chance of me killing a god. There's a chance of one of the gods dying out of the pantheon.
You're gonna kill Wad right away.
No. It's all if the dice would kill him.
Yeah, yeah. I hope so.
He's gonna kill my goddess, and then just chaos will reign.
Oh
and the magic will be all over the place. All right.
I think Wad loves Kamiria. He's like that girl has my back, and she's like I don't. I guess.
Yeah, he had so much promise.
Like, I do, but stop telling people that.
Yeah. All right. That's some.
We had wisdom here. Okay, so this demigod here, the two men of wisdom. I'm just gonna have that one. They rule over the divine domain of wisdom, fairness, and all things calm. You dislike interacting directly with mortals, but you often observe them, issuing out minor blessings and minor curses. Your ability to subtly edge people towards great good leads mankind to a golden age of enlightenment in one era. So this demigod is going to bring about a golden age. Please roll a 1d4 to see what golden age these two fucking guys in a Chinese junior map do.
I got it. 3. I got 3.
All right. So they're going to be in the second to last campaign. They are going to show up and lead everyone into a golden age.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I didn't realize suffering had that kind of potential implication.
Okay. What is a minor blessing that these guys may give?
Margarine. Let me think. A minor blessing.
If they're going to basically go around the world judging people, and if they see somebody they don't like, they're going to curse them, and if they see somebody like, they're going to bless them. So we can make the blessings as small or as big as possible. I know that like when I was first doing this and I was running people through it to see if it was like a good system, the guy got wisdom minor blessing, and he was giving people antlers. So
that's pretty
even
good.
Something like that you can kind of go with.
That's pretty funny. Oh, no, that's not fair.
Everything's canon.
I'm thinking my no, because I don't want it to be too connected to. I was thinking the blessing would be puts your face on your stomach. But that's
got to be a blessing to other people.
Okay,
it has to be something a player would think, oh, that's good.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me think about that then.
Blessings tend to have a positive impact in one place.
I don't know why you guys are against this, but
I'm not against it. Everything's canon. You can do that.
No. I think we can keep that to the side. I'm thinking like something that a player would like that's kind of interesting. I'm thinking of like wisdom, Chinese finger trap. Okay, I like the idea of like, okay, that's fun. A blessing to them and to what these guys would think of. And all right, there's a couple of layers here. So, them being stuck together, I like to think their lore, they had to learn how to live with another person, right? And that's the beauty of it, of the wisdom that comes from that, is that it's not just about being within yourself. You have to be Zen amongst others. That's what true Zen is. And however, a blessing to them would have been the ability to sort of like give them like Mr. Fantastic ass power so they can just get the fuck out of a Chinese finger trap easily. Something where they can like, a blessing to them is like kind of being able to like, it's like almost like turning into gas like a vampire does, but like something like
Misty Step?
Yeah,
like a Misty Step. But like almost like their limbs, like they like deflate. You can like deflate at will almost to like slink out of something. Like
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong style blessing.
Yeah.
What about a curse? What curse would they give?
Oh.
I do like the idea of two guys stuck in a Chinese finger trap, wandering the earth, casting judgment on everybody. It's very funny.
Well, it's like that blessing. It's like you have to be flexible. That's why they're like to live with other people. I think it's all tying together. So something about rigidity, right? Like that's the curse. So it's like maybe it's turning people to stone.
Yeah,
maybe they go hardcore. Yeah.
All right.
Hardcore and a little bit more traditional.
Do we want to give them names? I kind of like almost having it just be ambiguous, like just two guys.
Keep it ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
No. Every 2 names I come up with, I'm like, nah, it's cheapening it. It should be a little bit like spookier without names. You know?
All right. So that's it on the domain stuff. We're going to run through the mortal questions, and we should be able to wrap it up here. Let me bring it down.
Okay.
Do some homework here. All right. Okay, first up, what is the correct way for mortals to worship you?
Oh. God.
Annoyingly, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought of a better answer for this for my character.
All right.
Let's
do yours. Buying me time to think.
I'm gonna buy you some time.
Yeah.
So I still like Private Shrine.
Private Shrine is a soldier.
That's great. But what I also really like is Diary because.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Right.
Because she gets to read it all.
Yeah, she can.
Oh, and that's so juicy for her. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and across, histories and traditions, a lot of times the god of magic is also the god of writing.
Yeah.
And knowledge, and so I like the idea that it's like there's still that aspect, and for her, she's simply tends to be, at least this facet of her that I've designed so far, is less interested in facts and more interested in
the juice.
Yeah, the juice.
All right, I like that a lot. Just reading through it, and then she just gets access to everybody's secrets.
Yeah. Secrets.
All right.
Plans.
All right, I like that. Got that in there. You think of
Oh,
anything yet, Patches?
Yes, I did. Because of the suffering thing and like penance.
Ooh.
Maybe it's saying, I'm sorry.
You have to say.
I'm sorry.
Like a baby.
Like a baby. I'm really sorry.
And that's the worship practice.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, a lot of people would be drawn to like the Church of Wad if they like being embarrassed, if they want to be a baby.
Oh yeah, you're gonna really.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, the cleric of this guy just really shaped itself full cloth in my brain.
Oh my god. The fucking just like the priest in gym shorts for this guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay,
all right.
That's how he likes to be worshipped. Keep going. Yeah.
How do you interact with mortals? Do you like them or hate them?
He loves them.
He
He thinks they're awesome.
Mortals. He thinks like, do you love them like if a person says they love dogs, they'll be nice to every dog. Are you nice to every mortal?
Yes. When he was Alfonso or Alonzo, whatever I originally called him, he was much more of a, a little bit more cynical, a little bit more, playful, and then he kind of just became duller and smilier. And he's like, people are awesome. Became his conclusion.
I love Vlad. He fucking sucks.
He's
this guy
great.
fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah, he's terrible.
And Kamiria is just like trying to train this handsome guy who just really is so fucking disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He has so much power.
Okay, this is a good one for Wad. What is the name and profession of your favorite mortal?
Oh no.
I imagine like some sort of friar who falls into a big barrel of wine he's drinking. I imagine like.
I think it's. Is it a guppy? No. Guppies are just around. I don't think he. Yeah, some kind of an oafish friar is pretty funny.
Like a hair shirt guy. Also. Yeah, like I'm thinking, like, are you familiar with hair shirts?
Hair shirts.
You know, it used to be like an early medieval form of like penance. You would wear a shirt made out of hair because of how uncomfortable it was to like prove that you were like close to God. They used to make you do a lot of weird stuff to prove how much you liked God.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a hair shirt could look very cool. I think it could be very stylish.
Is Wad wearing a hair shirt?
Oh God. Can his body? He's got a weird elongated body. I don't know if he's wearing clothes even.
Yeah. Okay, let me think of then. Who is his favorite mortal? What was the exact phrasing of the question?
What is the name and profession of your favorite mortal? Give a brief description.
Okay. Name is oh no. Yeah. Jenny. And their profession is... Should it be farmer? Because it's like agriculture?
Yeah, it might be.
Probably got to be a farmer. Yeah. They're a farmer.
Why are they his favorite?
What would I don't know. I have a hard time. I'm thinking about what Wad would favor in somebody.
I think he likes people with weird bodies.
So maybe she just looks silly.
He seems to like everybody.
He does. That's the thing.
They could farm his potatoes. They could have a farm close to. Like, they could be somebody who's just.
They could be cool with the guppies.
That's what I was literally thinking.
She could employ some guppies on her farm.
She literally, because she is the only person in the world who just fucks with the guppies.
Who, honestly, the only mortal who
like there are mortals who are like, oh, I know they're great. I love them.
Yeah,
you know,
but they don't fucking mean it. You know.
Yeah, she like. You go to her house and they're sitting at the table and eating with her. And everyone's like, what the I just donated to the Guppy Fund. I didn't have them over my house.
Yeah. And like she knows all the real world, weird rules of guppies.
Yes.
Like, guppies don't ask for salt. You're not allowed to ask for salt. So they look at it and you have to grab it for them and give it to them based on she knows all the weird guppy
It just clicks for her.
Yeah. She just gets them.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're in the mortal realm, what kind of stuff are you doing?
Oh.
I think a lot when about this question is like Zeus, right?
Right. He's fucking some broad.
Or horses, or he's fucking a bull, or he's turning into a horse and fucking a woman. Like, that's what
right. Yeah. Right.
You think of what Juno was doing? She was usually watching her husband fuck women and getting mad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wad isn't doing either of those things. For sure.
Goodness.
Oh, you know what he does? He shows up and he stares at the ocean.
What happens if somebody bothers him while he's doing this?
He starts telling them everything he did that day.
He sounds like he is, when he's not actively creating something, he's like a big contemplator of mysteries. Like, he will...
Yeah.
He stared at that meteor for a really long time. He stares at the ocean.
I think that's how I saw it. Is that like after he stared at he was the kind of guy who was like, oh, he's like cool and interesting and he is contemplating this meteor. He's trying to figure this out. He's trying to figure out Zoth, like almost like surreptitiously, like under his radar. And then in his quest to figure him out, he ended up just becoming a stupid guy who looks at the ocean and smiles.
Hey, it seems to work out for him.
That's stupid. I mean, who?
Well, no, nothing wrong with doing that. He happens to be a stupid guy.
Right.
Looks at the ocean and smiles. Looking at the ocean and contemplating is great stuff.
He kind of personally already blew his wad, so to speak, when he created his one big.
Yeah.
He watches the ocean like people watch a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's like,
this is a good movie.
Yeah. He like when he has to like go get something to eat, he like runs quickly and comes back because he doesn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Wad have fear or hope?
He has a lot of hope.
Does he strive for anything?
I think just to like because of his origin, I think he has flashes of striving for like more people to invest in because I do like the idea of the guppies having this sort of like magical ability to grow underground, and that was something that was important to him. And I think in his relationship to Chimera, right, there's something where he's like still strives to see more magic in the world, like still strives to see more definitely kindness. He wants there to be kindness. He wants there to be verdant green in the world. You know, he has a lot of hope for that. Even if he's not terribly great at executing on it. And then what is it? What is he fear, right? What is he afraid of?
Yeah, is he afraid of anything?
I think he's afraid of Zoth.
He still likes him, but he's afraid of him a little bit.
Yeah.
There's like a trepidation there and even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I do like him now. Like he's very like he's the ultimate he's a very good earth god. Like he's
soulful and
he's like a little brother. He's like a little brother.
Yeah. He's like you hear about like there's this Buddhist monk who I occasionally watch his like YouTube videos or whatever.
Very cool.
And he's talked about a monk that he met in Thailand or whatever. He was like the guy's like he's illiterate. He's not, he's never really left like this one geographical area, but he's like the happiest guy I've ever met. And he's just like he meditates a lot. He is very wise and insightful when you do talk to him. And it's just like, yeah, there's some like that is like kind of the ultimate wisdom, right? Of like being a high, like having ascended into some higher mental state.
Right.
Yeah.
Of that you are just like you understand the nature of suffering, and you understand that it's part of life, and it's kind of like an integral part of life, and you're just like
and I feel like he's even like
kind of incorporate all these things.
Suffering's like a little cool, is what he thinks.
Yeah, and to me,
he thinks suffering is a little cool.
And yeah, to me, when he was Alonzo, it was all like contemplating things and like kind of trying to be better than mortals, being better than everything, and then he was brought back down to earth and to the ground and to growth and to these fundamental things that are crucial, and like he was kind of like humbled almost by everything,
by these freaks he made.
Yeah, and by this like and by the things he couldn't understand. And so he's enigmatic in his origin. It doesn't make sense how he became this way, except that he was and then he made guppies. Yes. And the guppies guppies are awesome.
All right. You got one last thing to roll. That's going to be your connection to the next god. That's going to be Elliot, I believe, from Where Rat. So go ahead and roll me a D8 to say what your connection is going to be.
God. I got a 5.
A 5 is... I already did that one, rival. I'm just pushing the next one down. You are going to be a sibling.
Oh, no.
So you are going to be the sibling somehow. Of Elliot when we have them there. All right, so doing a recap of what we got for this week then. We got Chimera, who governs the domains of the arcane, of magic, and tricksters and nobility. And then we got Wad, who does suffering, earth, and agriculture. So in terms of like what we have for the lore now, we have all of our stuff of how civilizations are going to build. We have our cash crop. We have our main animal that's being domesticated. So we have all that stuff. We have our main setting so far in Pronger Valley, which was established early on. So we have all the basic stuff now. The only thing that we haven't determined about the world is going to be what's the sun like We don't know if we're going to have a weird sun, 2 suns. We don't know any of that. We don't know what the moon's like. We don't know any of the massive world building stuff yet.
The celestial bodies, it seems, yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know what's at the center of the earth. So next time, we still have a lot to figure out in terms of like the world building stuff. But we have 6 out of the 9 already done. So next week we're going to do 2 more. Then the week after that, we got Hesse doing the last one. We're going to have Dan Beckner on that one too. He's
cool.
I don't know if he's either going to design the remaining demigods or he's going to design the first kingdom. So I don't know which one he wants to go for. I gave him both options. But once we get that set in, once I have the kingdoms and the tribes done, that's when I'm going to run the first campaign. So I got that looking. If you guys are interested in that campaign, let me know. I'm not going to do it, but what I'm going to do, I think of what I'm going to do on Sundays is I'm going to have it be like a pickup game style format. Because Sundays are too hard to get people in their 30s, which are most of my friends, there weekly. So I'm thinking of doing it in a pickup game format, but I'll let you guys know. But
love that.
Yeah, that's Lore Club. That's what we got for today. You guys got anything you want to say before we sign off here?
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Oh, no problem.
Exactly what I was going to say. This was super fun.
Yeah.
I love doing this.
Sorry
about Zod. Wad.
I love Wad. I love Kamiri. It's too
Sorry,
good.
I don't know what to do with my face when I'm on camera. But
oh, your face is mostly there. You don't really have to do anything with it. You just basically get it. It's basically
that's what they keep trying to tell me, but here I am.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next Sunday. I'll be streaming probably Thursday morning next. But see you again. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Lizzie. Thanks, Patches, for doing it.
All right.
I'm hopping off. See you guys later.